What is up, Nuggets? It's your boy, Killer Pizza, here with a brand new video for you rascals and rapscallions out there. As always, I hope everybody's having a great weekend watching some spooky movies. It is a beautiful day here in Michigan, and I decided to make a video for you guys that I've been thinking about making for quite some time now. As you could tell from the title, Why I Collect Physical Media. And I put some thought into this ahead of time, like, do I make a list of reasons why I collect? But I decided just to go the way I normally do in these videos and just riff it. Just go off the cuff and just say what's on my mind. And, I figured the best way to explain why I collect physical media would be first to explain my history collecting physical media. So, first of all, this goes back all the way since I was a little kid. I gotta say, like, a lot of you guys watching this video probably have the same situation as me, that I always grew up around physical media. I grew up in the VHS days. I was raised by a single parent, my mother. And ever since I can remember, she always had a pretty decent VHS collection. And I remember watching movies all the time ever since I grew up, going to the movie theater too as well. But where things started to really grow for me when it came to physical media was something I know we all hold dear to our hearts. It's the video store. So I've told this story before. When I was a little kid, it was me, my mom, and my sister. And we used to go to this video store back in the day called Videotron. And we would only go on a Friday or Saturday if we were good in school, usually Friday after class and everything, after school got out. And they had a deal at the time, 3 movies for $3 for 3 days. So my mom would get one, I would get one, and my sister would get a tape. I would always get, every single time, this place had the biggest selection of WWF tapes. I would get a WWF or Coliseum tape or one of the Rocky movies, usually Rocky 4, every time. And my sister would always get a horror movie. And we grew up in the 90s, so a lot of the stuff we always watched was from the 80s, mostly, some stuff from the 70s. So I would say, just to throw that out there, that's how my love for horror originally started, was through my older sister who would rent these, because as the older sister, we would have to watch her movies first. We would watch it that night. Tons of movies, lots of great stuff. So I always had a love for it there. And ever since I can remember, like I said, I collected, I remember going to a mall when I visited my grandma's house, and I would always go to the KB Toys and pick up an action figure wrestling toy. And I remember going over to the FYE next to the KB Toys and buying Night of the Living Dead 1990 on VHS. That was the first actual movie I ever bought, and I had to have been 10 years old. I think I still have the tape to this day, just without the case, and I wore the crap out of that. And, from there, I always had somewhat of a collection. I remember I used to skateboard a lot when I was younger, and the big thing back then was waiting for the tapes to come out. Flip Sorry, Girl Yeah Right, tons of videos. You had to go to the store back then, the skate shop, to grab it. There was no YouTube or anything, so we'd have to pick up the skate videos like that. I had a huge wrestling DVD collection. I remember, I believe on my 10th birthday, I got that big WrestleMania 1 through 14 VHS box set on my birthday. And that was absolutely amazing. So, I had tons of other movies in my collection. I remember a lot of George Romero films were some of the first ones I always got. We were always really big on zombie movies. So, always had some form of physical media in my life. And I don't remember the year in particular, but I was pretty young, a preteen, maybe even like 11 or 12 years old. And this is when DVD players first came out. And the gift I got for Christmas, which I actually rebought this years later, was the gift I wanted for Christmas that I got was a DVD player that was huge, a giant DVD player, and Simpsons Season 1 on DVD. And I have an absolute love for the original Simpsons, Seasons 1 through 8. I think the rest of it are crap. But it was a tradition from then on that every Christmas I would get a DVD or whatnot, a bunch of DVDs. And I would watch them all day on Christmas. That was like my deal and everything. And I think where a lot of this comes from, too, with my collecting with DVDs back in the day, as a young kid, was like, I grew up in government housing when I was a kid, and we had a good childhood growing up. It wasn't bad. But when times were bad, they were pretty bad, And besides being a big fan of film and TV shows and whatever, just media, I always found back in the day that popping in a movie was always an escape for me. Going to the video store and looking through the movies and finding the right one, I always felt in my element, if that makes sense. And whenever I could put on a movie, I always felt an escape from the world, and it's always like a safety blanket for me in a weird way. Even last night, I watched The Crow on 4K, and I had the same feeling. I just was in the zone with it and just my happy place and whatnot. So ever since then, I've been a big collector, and My collection kind of got destroyed a couple times from moving over the years. We had a basement flood one time, and when I started this channel almost 5 years ago, that's when I started recollecting again. And I started finding out about boutique labels and everything, and then it just went on from there, and I got the bug. Pretty much once I got a new job that was paying me pretty damn good, I was like, I'm getting back into collecting, and this is where all this madness has come from. But yeah, pretty much that's the start of it. So I think a lot of it, the reason I collect, one of the major things is a nostalgia feeling. You know what I mean? I just love the feeling of browsing through my movies. And I think we miss the days of going to the video store, like that's why I kind of like going to conventions and whatnot, because, I remember going to a convention and a guy's walking by talking about Terminator with his girlfriend. I said, what do you like better, Terminator 1 or 2? And we talked about it for like 20 minutes. His girlfriend was so mad, but you could do that in the video store. Just say, hey, what do you think about this one? It was like a camaraderie. You know what I mean? It was just the feeling of going to the video store back then. It could be a date night, a family night. You could just go there by yourself. It was amazing, And that's a big reason too. I like collecting physical media. I like to loan out my movies to people I care about. Like I've been loaning my mom some movies for a couple weeks now, and she's watched, Silver Bullet, The Lost Boys, Monster Squad, To Live and Die in L.A., even X, and just to recommend the right movie to somebody is just something so nice. Or to have somebody come over and go through my movie shelf and they say, Burial Ground, I've never seen this zombie movie, and I say, oh, my friend, you're in for a treat. Just it's just something like that. And I think, with the days of streaming, I could go on, but we wanted death of cable for a long time, a lot of people, because they've been screwing us, Comcast and everything. But my thing is, you get one streaming service, and this isn't anti-streaming. I have some streaming sites too, and if that's what you want to do to watch your horror movies, that's fine. But it gets to the point where everything is getting watered down with streaming. The more services we have, the more content. It's like when boxing got big back in the day, or more recently, like the UFC. The cards used to be really good, but the bigger they have and the more shows they have, the more watered down the cards are. So the more content they're trying to put in streaming, the more they're reaching for certain content, and the more watered down what you have is. And then it's all stretched out amongst these streaming services. So you're going to end up paying more than you did for cable in the first place to have all these streaming services, which granted, collecting movies is, an expensive thing. But I recently had a time, maybe a month ago, where our internet went out for about a week because of the weather and the electrical lines and everything. And I didn't have that problem because I could watch these movies. I could throw on Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I could throw on Scarface and watch it whenever I want. And with that being said, too, on top of the streaming services, they're not going to have everything you want. Probably besides Tubi or Pluto are the only ones that have some of these strange horror movies that I'm really into. And even then, you don't know if it's going to last forever. You could buy a movie online, and then once they take it off, you don't have it anymore. So do you really own it? But like with this, I have it in my hand. I can always watch it. And there's certain episodes, like the Michael Jackson episode of The Simpsons, I believe, isn't around anymore. They took it away. So censorship's another thing. And you could talk about South Park. There's so many episodes of South Park that you won't find streaming anymore. They've canceled it. Or another example, Chappelle Show. I went on streaming to watch the episode with Oprah, and she must have got offended or something, because that's not on any streaming services anymore, the censorship. So I know I'm kind of bouncing all these reasons around, and I'm rambling, but like I said, I just want to go off the cuff. So just the idea of having the copy in your hand, nobody can ever take it away from you. It's never going to be canceled. They'll never be able to censor the certain episodes. You can get everything in its full. And then on top of that, you got movies like that was brought up a while ago. And there they go. There go the movies. Killer Clowns. I can't find it. I use Basket Case and Killer Clowns from Outer Space from Arrow Video as an example. The special features that are on these movies. If you're a real student of the game and you love film like I do, nothing beats the special features. You could stream stuff all day, but the Return of the Living Dead 4K and Blu-ray from Scream Factory has the documentary, the hour-and-a-half documentary on there that's amazing with multiple commentary tracks. I remember watching The Thing, one of my favorite movies. You got a commentary track with John Carpenter and Kurt Russell. You can listen to all these making of, behind the scene documentaries, and there's just so much bang for your buck and context and content for it. So, I mean, that's another reason I like to collect. And I think the biggest thing for me is when you collect, it's a piece of you. I take pride, like a dad looking at his lawn he mowed, looking at my collection. Because sure, there's some stuff I've gotten from like Horror Pack that's absolutely terrible in my collection I need to get rid of once I need more space. But for the most part, everything on my shelf is stuff that represents me, that are movies that I absolutely love. So when I have somebody come look at my shelf, it's everything about me that defines me. And it just makes me happy inside. You know what I mean? And, so to have a collection that kind of defines you, to have the actual physical content in your hand that will never get censored, that you never have to pay for or look for streaming somewhere. It's like, I want to buy Apocalypse Now recently on 4K. You can't find it nowhere. It's not streaming. I think you could order it on Prime, but like, once you have it, it's yours. You have the copy in your hand. You have the best quality. Plus with those boutique labels, it's the same as collecting comic books and stuff like that. You got the cool artwork and everything. And that's another thing too, just this channel alone for collecting. Like, there's so many badass releases coming out at the end of June and July that I'm excited for, that I can't wait. And the hunt to go find them and come on here and talk about these releases with you guys. And the horror community, the physical media community is absolutely amazing. I'm so happy I made this channel just to be able to like communicate with other people and talk just movies in general. So there's so many reasons. I can't put my finger on just one. I would say to have, like I said, to have the physical copy, to avoid the censorship. You don't have to pay for all the streaming. When you want to watch it, you can watch it. It's yours. All the special features you get on a movie, the treatment they give these, like some of these ultra releases that Vinegar Syndrome has done is absolutely amazing. Or the chunky boxes through Arrow Video. Like, you want to see your favorite titles get this treatment. You know what I mean? And on top of that, like I mentioned the video store earlier, we miss the video store. I do. But when I have a shelf like this, I feel like I'm in the video store at one point. I eventually want to build like a mock video store in theater. I'm looking to get a new house here, and I want to get a basement and do that. And I think that's going to be absolutely amazing. There's my catchphrase, absolutely amazing. I say it in every video, but with those reasons alone, and the thing about it too is you don't have to have a movie collection like I got. It's like, say your favorite movie is Django Unchained, a Quentin Tarantino movie. Like, grab that, or grab all Quentin Tarantino movies. Like, grab what means a lot to you. But overall, I think the biggest thing, the reason why I collect, is how this whole video started with the story of my collecting. I think it's a nostalgia thing for me. The biggest reason I miss being able to go to the video store, being able to exchange movies, borrow movies from people. And it's just my comfort place to have these movies, and I just love them. There's the thrill of the hunt and everything. And, I'm proud to consider myself a physical media collector. We've all heard it before. You tell someone you collect movies, oh, why don't you stream it? Why don't you stream it? That's too easy. There's an artistic way to it, and I have some movies in my collection, like I said, aren't streaming anywhere, some old stuff. So sometimes I feel like I'm preserving some of these films, some of these unknown films, and get to show them to people for the first time. And like I said, at the end of the day too, movies, films have always been there for me when I needed them. When I'm down or when I'm up, any mood, anytime, they're always there. And I love films so much. Why not have what I love most close to me? And I guess that's the best I can put it on why I collect physical media. I apologize, you guys, if I was just rambling and ranting on. I think I got my point across, damn it. But yeah, that's pretty much why I collect. I know I'm going to forget something that I could bring up, but I feel like I covered mostly everything. But yeah, in the comments, let me know why you guys collect physical media and whatnot. And other than that, if you guys are watching to this point in the video, I really appreciate it. Each and every one of you that subscribe to my channel, anybody that watches my channel. And yeah, let's watch more movies, collect physical media, because it's fucking awesome. Other than that, guys, hope everyone's having a good one. Blood, Guts, Gore. I'll check you guys next time.